So for early stage companies, so most of the founders are technical founders and they lack marketing expertise. So how do you convince them first for obviously all of these marketing functions that need to have and all of the budget that needs to be spent for things to happen, and especially for the brand part?
I'll go back to, again, it starts with a math problem of what you're trying to drive in terms of revenue and pipeline and the contribution being given by marketing. Most of the companies that I have worked for have been early stage startups. So I've been a part of 7 in my career in totality, both in cybersecurity as well as in the financial sector. And I think it comes down to 2 things. One is creating that strategy. And I think there's a myth, particularly with early stage founders and CEOs, is that just jump in and go. But in this instance, it's good to take a beat. A strategy doesn't need to be developed over the course of 6 months. Like, I think that's a myth in itself as well. It can be done quickly. It can be done in 30 days. It can be done in 2 days if you really commit to it. But taking that beat and pausing and creating a strategy that then has a more tactical plan aligned to your budget, it's this concept of slow down to go fast. And if you take that beat, you do a little bit better planning, you're utilizing your resources, both money and people, in a more effective manner, and you're likely not going to waste as much money. The other component, so I said there were 2 components. One is the development of the strategy. The second is constant education. So as they have marketing leaders, I think it's critical for these marketing leaders who most of them have upwards of 10, 15, 20 years of experience, is that they are in a constant state of educating their colleagues and peers about what marketing can do and what it actually is. I think we've moved beyond the concept of marketing as just arts and crafts and making things look pretty. And there's an element of understanding that it's arts and craft and a very serious science. One of the largest functions to own in data is the marketing function. So educating the CEO or the founder, as well as your peers, your sales peers, your operational peers, your CFO, for goodness sakes, the CFO really cares what you're doing. But educating them on the trends, how the data can be utilized to make decisions, the importance of that data, and investing in the technology to ensure you have good data flow, as well as reporting. And it's a constant, I wouldn't say it's a battle, because I don't think of it as a battle. I think they're legitimately interested in learning. But it's, how do you navigate and influence people and persuade people about, I've got subject matter expertise in this space. Here's the data that shows it. I need you to trust me as the subject matter, and I'll continue to educate you, and we'll go forth, we'll go forth and prosper. But it is a constant and regular battle. And then finally, I know you asked about the brand. The brand to me is, again, part of the overarching strategy. So there tends to be an early stage this desire in which to over-rotate into the brand, and I understand that. And then sometimes I agree with it. But again, you can't have brand without demand hand in hand. So the weighting of the budget may be, in the beginning, as I said, I typically go 50-50. One of the companies I was at recently, I was probably more at like a 60-40, leaning into the brand, because they really needed to get their name out there. So if it's an early stage, you might be maybe not overextending, but rotating a little bit into the brand because you need to bring your name up. But over time, as you need to drive revenue, you're going to have to make that shift and either balance it out, or then, as I said, as you start to grow and gain some momentum and velocity, dial a little bit more into the demand side. But at the end of the day, having a strategy and continuing to educate your CEO, founder, and peers will go a long way, with it all being rooted in data.